Hello, and welcome to another episode of A Day in the District. I'm your host, Chelsea Whittington, and today I have two amazing individuals who are doing incredible things in your Gary Community School Corporation. A Day in the District was developed to help you, the viewer, stay connected to your Gary schools. And I'm so excited to welcome Anita Johnson and Steve Heinold of Gear Up. I love to say Gear Up because although it stands for something, just the words to say gear up means you're ready to do something. And Steve, I'm going to start with you because you have the most gear up veteranism, if that's a word. And talk to me about what Gear Up stands for and how it has operated within the Gary schools. And then we'll pass the torch to our current fearless leader, Miss Anita. Steve?
Well, great. Yeah, Gear Up is a federal grant run through Purdue University College of Ed, and it stands for Gaining Early Awareness and Readiness for Undergraduate Programs. So there's an acronym behind all that.
Oh, yes.
But we carry that spirit of just gearing kids up to be excited about school, about learning, about after-school spaces, and then about college as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
And so what was your attraction to Gear Up and your roles over the years?
Yeah, it's a good question. So I grew up here in Valpo area. Both my parents were educators in the classroom, my grandma as well. Probably over 100 years between my grandmas and both my parents. So it's in my blood, and I ended up going to Purdue West Lafayette for my undergraduate degree. Became a classroom math teacher and taught a few places around the country. Ended up back here in Indiana working for Purdue University for Gear Up for the last 4 years. And also getting a PhD through the College of Ed there at Purdue.
Oh, Dr. Heinold, excuse me.
Future, it's coming.
Okay, it's coming. Well, I am claiming that for you because anytime anybody earns those letters, I want people to know I will give you your titles as they are appropriate. Anita, Miss Gear Up herself, talk to me about your involvement in the program and how we have been so blessed to have you on our team.
Well, I was fortunate enough to be hired in June to take on the position as Regional Director of Gear Up here at Westside, which is my alma mater. I'm a proud Cougar.
Yes.
And I was so excited to come back home to be able to work with my students, my babies, and to be able to see them walk through those same classroom doors as I walk through, and to be able to give them guidance and parental assistance,
Yes.
Psychology, whatever it is that they need. I'm auntie, they call me auntie, I'm godmama. So whatever it is that they need, I am here to help them
Now,
to get
I
to
have
that point.
seen you in action with them. I've seen you shed tears over them. Your commitment and passion is definitely real. But for someone who's not familiar with the Gear Up process, how does it work? Do I start when I'm a freshman in my 8th grade? Do you reach out to me? Do I reach out to you? And what do I get?
Well, this year I'm working with the senior class only.
Okay.
And that is because they were they have been followed since the 6th grade going into 7th grade.
Okay.
So these students have been followed from middle school all the way through their senior year. And they will continue to be followed through their first year of college as well.
Okay.
So I am here to assist them, to give them every opportunity that is available to them as far as information about college, technology, mathematics. I sit in on classes and I support teachers as well. I also pull out students if needed to work with them one-on-one. I give teachers the support they needed, and our administration has been wonderful because whatever I go in there and ask them for or say that I want to do, Mr. Scott has never turned me down. He says, okay, Anita, I'm going to work with you. We're going to do this, this, and this.
Yes.
I've taken them on about 5 college tours.
Yeah,
so
we're
far.
going to get to that because I have been in on a few of those and I want to dive deep into that. But Steve, I wanted to switch back over to you, Dr. Steve. I want to switch back over to you really quickly before we move forward with what we have been doing. You were with Gear Up during the pandemic. And so how did that impact the program? What did we do?
Yeah, those challenges that came quick, especially the Gary School staying virtual for most of about a year and a half there. And so we had an after-school program we were dedicated to, and what we learned really is the relationships where we had established relationships before the pandemic. Those were that's what carried us through.
Okay.
And so a lot of students we just had relationships already with. So we opened up our Zoom room after school, after their sort of virtual school session. A lot of students didn't want to get on Google Classroom because that meant school to them.
Right.
So we found ways to connect with them through Discord and other sort of like social media ways that they connect. They had an anime club we were supporting, and so we found ways to kind of give students that outlet. Even though they couldn't be together physically, we knew it was so important that they still had spaces, like good social spaces to gather. And so we mailed some STEM kits home to individual kids and did them together on Zoom. We were really able to keep that up. And then also in the classroom, we were able to support through the Google Classroom with some of our staff being accessible to the students during class as well.
You know, I always say, as I have different guests come on the show and we talk to them about how they pivoted during the pandemic, it really makes us stand up and look at things differently. And did you find that there were some things that after the pandemic, okay, we can keep this, we can still do the virtual groups or the anime or clubs or whatever? What are some of the things you have kept going? Anything?
Yeah. What I found is, like, we all sort of tried virtual learning and online learning before. COVID really made us get better at it.
Okay.
And figure out what works and what doesn't.
Okay.
And I think we've come out of that with some better tools and better techniques. Google Classroom has become a place where we can connect with students. It still is not sufficient for that to be the only place, but some of these other social media kind of Discord channels, the students are still, when we had first started that to connect with students, some students are still interacting on that with teachers involved, and it's become a really positive space for that. And so we know we're not going to get past the virtual connection and all that, and so we're really trying to just maximize and use that the best way.
That's great, and I'm just so glad that we are back because it has given me an opportunity to watch the two of you in action with our young people. And before we get to our first break, Anita, I wanted to ask you, I know you're working with the senior class. What if I'm a senior? I don't know, if I'm somebody who's late to the program coming into the district, is there any way I can get in on it, or do I have to be a part of that class that was followed from 6th grade?
As long as you are a senior.
Okay.
And when you come in, I normally work with all of the 12th grade English teachers and math teachers, so I'm in their classrooms daily. And so the kids, they know me and they get to know me, and I get to explain to them what Gear Up is about. And also my office is available on the 2nd floor, so my door is always open so the kids can come in and talk to me about whatever it is they need.
I love it. So parents who are watching, and if you're a parent of a senior or if you're a senior who's watching, you're going to have to get in on like the tail end, because can you believe we are already in the month of December. However, there have been some exciting things that have taken place with Gear Up in 2022 and even more to come in 2023. And we're going to touch on all of that in the next segment. You are watching A Day in the District. I'm your host, Chelsea Whittington. A Day in the District has been specifically developed for you, the viewers in our community, to stay connected to your Gary Community School Corporation. When we come back, we'll continue our discussion on Gear Up and all of the exciting programs and initiatives that they have in store. Stay right there.
It's gross. I don't really want to talk about it. She didn't want to at first, but I mean, it's no big deal. Everybody does it.
I was ready, totally ready, because we had been practicing this dance for weeks.
He was supposed to take this girl to this dance, but
I sprained my ankle at track practice.
I hate sharing anything personal. It's so disgusting. For the dance, I let her wear my shoes and she hated it, but I thought she looked great in them.
he could barely even walk.
I ended up taking some pills for my pain.
Yeah, they were my mom's, but
It didn't go well.
If it's not yours, if it's not yours,
if it's not yours,
Hey you,
don't take it.
don't take it.
Don't take it.
don't take it. You won't believe what happened next.
My dance instructor at Woodside is pretty tough on me. I don't mind because I know she cares about my education and only wants what's best for me. That's why I enrolled in Gary Community Schools. Not simply to spend hour after hour working on toe pointing, but to be the best.
Gary Schools. Strong, resilient, built for education.
Welcome back to A Day in the District. I'm your host, Chelsea Whittington, and we are chatting with my colleagues from Gear Up. Gaining early
Awareness and readiness.
Awareness and readiness for undergraduate
Programs.
Get ready for college, everybody.
Thank you.
We are talking about, and I worked for the district, a little known, well, it may not be little known, but trivia. I was the director of public relations for the Gary schools about 20, 25 years ago.
I remember that.
And Gear Up was still in effect under Dr. Vanessa Allen McLeod, and we took trips. And often she would let me accompany them on college tours. So when I was able to pop in on a couple of the tours that you have recently had in the region, I got real reminiscent. I said, oh, but it also made me happy that we're still doing it. So Anita, you said you've taken 5 so far. Where have we been? Where are you taking my babies? And when are we going to Howard? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Shameless plug.
Let's do it.
I wish. I would like to.
Okay.
Well, as I said, I started this job in June, and when August hit, I was on the ground running.
Okay.
So our first college visit that we did was that we went, well, it was Purdue Polytechnic, and we also went to the Subaru plant.
Okay.
So the
down in
students,
southern, what's
West Lafayette,
Okay.
West Lafayette. So the students got a chance to tour the plant and the automotive plant and get a chance to see cars being made. And that was exciting because that was my first time going to
Sure.
Subaru, so I was excited.
Yes, and we pass it all the time. Going
yes.
down 65, you see the car on the hill.
Yes.
But a lot more is going on back there in the plant. Huh?
Yes, they got a chance to do like hands-on with some of the, I guess some of the workers that work there, and it was exciting. They were able to learn how to operate on a, what is it? I want to say a conveyor
Yeah,
belt.
kind of like the
And
assembly
they were
line.
also, they also learned that if one person doesn't know what they're, well, I wouldn't say know what they're doing, but if they slow the line
They don't
down,
complete their
or they
part.
don't complete the task, it slows down production and they're losing money.
Oh, so
And
time
so-
is money.
Right, and so they learned that as well. So that was exciting. They enjoyed that.
Now, before we move on to the next college tour, now this is a little bit off from your specific college area. Steve, where does that fold into Gear Up programming? Because I'm hearing STEM, and we need that, right? And we're going to talk about the garden too. So, did that like evolve, come about, or was that always part of the curriculum to introduce students to those types of opportunities?
Yeah, our grant's goal is college readiness, but we use STEM, our Indiana grant uses STEM as a vehicle for that. So
Gotcha,
we're looking at
okay.
universities that focus on that. There's just a huge trickle out of students out of STEM careers as they get older and older. They're not in math
see.
and science as much, and so we're trying to retain that. And there's so many opportunities. We've connected with US Steel up here for some of their outreach program to look at vocational programs so kids can get training. And then the Purdue Polytechnic campuses, the university campuses, I know there's some high schools as well, in Lafayette, and they're all over the state, really focus on being connected to industry and manufacturing and things that students can connect into. The opportunity I like is you don't have to have that 4.0 GPA, and it's not like this 4-year experience. You can get in with a lower GPA, kind of get some supplemental help, and then get right into jobs where you're making twice what you'd make if you're just coming out of high school.
I'm so excited for students because if I'm sitting here surprised about how that curriculum in the grant works, then there's certainly some parents and some viewers like, I did not know our scholars were this deeply immersed in this type of program. I'm so sorry to interrupt you about the college tour, but when I said Subaru assembly line, that's pretty cool. And so after Polytechnic, where else have we been?
Oh, we've been to Calumet College.
Whiting.
And a lot of our students did not know that Calumet College existed right in our backyard, so that was exciting. And they were also able to bring their transcripts.
Okay.
And they could get their acceptance letters right there on site with their
Wow.
transcripts, so that was good. We've gone to Purdue Northwest here in
There
Hammond.
I was. I popped in on them. They were like, Miss Chelsea, what are you doing here? I said, you never know where I'm going to show up to cover you.
Right.
And a lot of that, again, it was in the health field, healthcare field. I walked in on students with stethoscopes on and doing the resuscitation with the nursing students. How awesome is that, Anita?
They enjoy that. They also worked with the human brain, the spinal cords. They were able to learn how to do the is that the high blood pressure monitor.
Why does it have to be
so-
high blood pressure? It's just
Well,
blood pressure monitor.
I
Are
just
you
say
looking
high
at
blood
me?
pressure.
Like, high blood pressure. It's
The
regular.
blood pressure
Thank
cuff.
you. It's, okay.
They learned how to do that. I don't know why I said high blood pressure.
Looking at me. Because we are high pressure to help these young people get ready for college.
Yes.
I love it. And there was one more that I recently attended with all of you, and that was Indiana University Northwest.
Yes.
And again, the excitement in the air. And what I really love about Gear Up is the fact that we do emphasize the opportunities that are here locally in the region. And it is always my hope as a staunch Garyite, Gary lover, that they get their education, whether it be undergraduate degree or some other type of educational experience or military, but they stay here. Yeah. What do you think about that, Anita? Or they come back?
I love that because that is, I'm that person.
Uh-huh.
I graduated from Gary Westside and I went to Indiana State University, and then I went on and got my master's and came right back. I taught in the Maryville and the Gary Public School Corporations, and now I'm right back at home, giving back to my students, which I call my babies.
Yes.
So it's a good opportunity to be able to go out and see different things and go to different places and learn about all the different opportunities that these students can have. And then it's really good if they can bring it back home and build up their community.
Well, I hope that is something that's being
Yes.
shared with them. And as we get ready to close out this second segment, because it's going by so quickly, I love to hear about the different experiences that the young people have been having. But Steve, how important is it to give them not only the school aspect, but the workplace aspect?
Yeah, we started out in our grant as like really focused on sort of this 4-year college experience and learning. We've learned a lot of language from the Commission for Higher Ed, who we partner very closely with, who runs 21st Century Scholarships. They've done some research that post-secondary really means any sort of training you can get after high school. And that just opens up, I think, to way more students that maybe have struggled with the academic school portion or have other interests that they want. And STEM is connected still to so many degrees and job opportunities. And so, yeah, we're really trying to beef up our support of like 2-year programs, or like at the Career Center, some of the preparation they're doing to get students into certificates. But we still really believe, maybe the 4-year college experience isn't for everyone, but we really believe coming out of high school, getting some sort of training, some sort of vocational training or certificates to put you ahead of kind of those folks that are just coming out of high school is so important to get kids a jump start on their life and
important.
Career. Yeah.
You're watching A Day in the District, and when we come back, we're going to talk about community gardens, greens for the community, and the goals for 2023. Stay right there.
Hello, my name is Dr. Paige McNulty. I'm the manager for the Gary Community School Corporation, and I am pleased to be joined today with the Jackson 5 family members, Tito and Marlon Jackson.
Hi,
how are you? Thanks for being here today.
Not only are we members of the world-famous Jackson 5, but we are proud products of the Gary schools.
Growing up in Gary, our school system afforded great opportunities from academics to extracurricular activities.
And today is no different. This is why we encourage you to enroll your child in the Gary schools today.
For more information, please call 219-881-5466 or visit garyschools.org. And please remember, enroll in Gary Schools today.
Yes,
right.
Definitely enroll.
Gary Schools.
Strong, resilient.
Built for education.
Welcome back to the last segment of A Day in the District, and I'm still your host, Chelsea Whittington, and you know that A Day in the District was created just for you, the viewer, to stay connected to your Gary schools. I am always elated to have great guests, but more so to introduce our community to the different programs that, albeit they've been around, some people still don't know that Gear Up is alive and well in our schools and making a great difference, getting our young people ready for what's to come after they leave dear Westside. So Anita, we were talking before we were back on air about some of the requirements. And Steve, you mentioned the buckets. So let's talk about the different buckets of requirements. If you're gonna be in Gear Up, you can't jump in, jump out like Double Dutch. You have to stay the course and do what, Anita?
Well, part of their requirements are preparing them like for the SAT,
Okay.
which there may be an SAT prep probably in the spring because we didn't do it for this fall.
Okay.
But we also had an ASVAB boot camp for those students that were interested in the military.
Okay.
And so we had our college and career specialist, Jean, to come down from Gear Up, Purdue, and she spent 3 days with students and to help them review for the test. And then on the 4th day, I was fortunate enough to give the students the practice test.
Okay.
And so I think the following week they took the actual test. So we were preparing them so that they would know what type of questions were on the test and what to look for. And I'm trying to see.
And then your credits.
Yeah, the credits.
You talked about the bucket of credits.
Yeah, if you talk to
Steve.
school counselors, this is their life now. But yeah, the SAT is kind of your test to get out of high school, or
the
ASVAB.
ASVAB.
But then you also have to get your 40 credits like normal. And then you also have to do a work or project or service-based learning experience.
My favorite part,
Yeah.
service. So, when the weather was still kind to us a few months ago, I remember coming out and covering the unveiling of the greenhouse located right outside the gymnasium doors adjacent to the football field here at Westside Leadership Academy. And when I say color me impressed, I was totally impressed and only learned more about how our students are being groomed as young farmers, if you will, urban farmers. Talk about that program, Anita.
The Garden Club was a brainchild of Steve here.
All right, Steve.
And that was started before I came on to Gear Up.
Okay.
But when I was hired, I was introduced to the garden because Steve had me this summer to come out and help build the what do
you
call
had that
those?
manual.
Yeah, I had to build the garden to help him build those wooden troughs, I guess is what you call them.
Okay.
So I got introduced real early. The students came out and they helped, and Miss Bodie, who is our garden coordinator, she is available on Tuesdays and Thursdays during our after-school program. And the students, they go out and they learn about gardening, they learn about plant life, they learn about soil, they learn about all of those different things and how food can be used for nutritional needs.
Yeah.
They learn about that as well.
So, Steve, this was all you with the green thumb,
Yes.
huh? And I noticed there were young ladies out there very excited. There were a lot of young men out there getting their plan on. Talk to me about the makeup of the program and how it's going, and then what we were able to do most recently for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, great. Well, it's not totally my project. I spent a couple years trying to put the right pieces together, not just
Okay.
throwing a garden out there and see what happens. But I think we've just found the right partners with some parent partners, the Burtons that you've had on recently.
Yes.
Were instrumental in that. And also Shirley Hines Land Trust, which is a local
Love
nonprofit that's done a lot with us.
Mari.
And finally, we all came together and we found Miss Linda Bodie, who's a master gardener from Purdue Extension, who really knew the nuts and bolts of this. I'm not really a gardener by trade. It's kind of us education people. We do it when
Right.
it needs to be done. We figure it out,
I've
right?
called you everything, Dr. Gardner, everything. You do it.
And so, finally we kind of got the pieces put together and got some funding for it. Miss Bodie found 10, 15, 20 students some days really interested in it. And the fun part really is like in the winter right now, there's not a lot to do out there. So they're doing nutrition classes through Purdue Extension.
Really?
They've made some, I think, skillet lasagna.
They had
get to taste some of
that.
Nobody
And they
emailed
also
me about the lasagna.
The whole school smelled like it, I heard.
Yes, the hallways were filled with sauce and pasta.
Wow.
But they also did smoothies. She comes every Thursday, and she works with the students in the home economics room.
Now tell me about the greens.
Okay. Well, for Thanksgiving, the students and I and Miss Bodie, we went out and we picked collards.
Oh, wow.
For Thanksgiving. And the majority of the collards went to our FACE coordinator, Miss Foster, for those families that are in need. And every student, Gear Up student that was out picking the collards was allowed to take a bag home for Thanksgiving.
How wonderful is that? Did you teach a class on how to clean them and season them
No,
up?
but I should have, because I took mine home and cleaned them and cooked them.
Okay, well then that'll be for the next show. But as I heard about this, and I wrote an article, we wrote an article and pushed it out, so people will be reading about this, and took some pictures. You all sent some amazing pictures. We talk about, as we wrap up, Steve, the importance of giving them not only the college aspect, then we have the job workplace aspect, then here's the philanthropy with giving to the community, but you also talked about entrepreneurship, Steve.
Yeah, projects like gardens and greenhouses can really bring it all together. I think not just partners, but also all the myriad of topics you can cover and parts of school you can connect to. But so yeah, Linda has a she's done this at other schools where some of it goes to the community, families in need, but then also the students are going to put together a little farm stand is the plan.
Okay.
And so when parents come in and out of school, they can come and buy some of it, and that can go be a fundraiser for some other programs.
Fresh
students put together.
produce,
Yep.
which is what we're trying to emphasize anyway for our young people. No more chips. They can stop by the farm stand instead. I love it. So as we get ready to wrap up, I can't believe we're at a minute. Anita, your last words on Gear Up and how you love to work with our team.
My last words for Gear Up, well, there are no last words for Gear Up, because Gear Up is going to continue. And it's going to continue to shape and mold our students so that they can compete in this global society.
Well
and that is
said.
one of my jobs, to make sure that they are exposed to all aspects of this global society so that they can be ready.
Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it first from our regional director and Dr. Steve Heinold. I'm gonna keep saying it because that's gonna make him go ahead.
Shouldn't have said it.
It's on tape now. But I want to thank you both for all that you do for the scholars of the Gary Community School Corporation. Keep up the amazing work. And you have been watching A Day in the District. I'm your host, Chelsea Whittington, and we are committed to using this platform to keep you, the viewer, connected to your Gary Community School Corporation. For more information about our programs and opportunities with the Gary Schools, take the time to visit garyschools.org. We'll see you next time.
WSTG TV.